Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. There's another 5-minute review and reviewing the stand-up special on Netflix, Joe Rogan, Burn the Boats. This just came out. It's a somewhat pretty big special right now. It's been making headlines. It's the big Netflix special. And I don't know Joe Rogan ever doing a Netflix special before. I mean, not a Netflix special, but a stand-up comedy special before. So pretty big deal to have Joe Rogan do this. I saw it the other day on Netflix. And Joe Rogan, somebody I'm not super familiar with. I know he has a very popular podcast, the Joe Rogan podcast, where he interviews celebrity guests, I think, and talks about what's in the news and news items and so forth, and political news, whatever, pop culture news, all this stuff. I see clips of his show every once in a while, like on YouTube, or hear about it. I knew Joe Rogan as an actor. He was in a sitcom called Radio Hour or something like that. And I used to really like that show, and Joe Rogan was a part of the cast. To me, he wasn't a big part. He was more of a smaller character on the show, from what I remember. And he was supposed to be like this maintenance guy, I think, at the radio show. And he's kind of this, tough guy that's not very smart or something. And I don't remember him being particularly that funny. There's better characters on the show. But that's why I knew him. And I know he had something to do with UFC. And then this whole podcast thing has really blown up. It's been a bit controversial because he's not necessarily a conservative Republican, but he's not a far left liberal. And so he makes statements that liberals hate because he tends sometimes to lean more conservative on some issues, not all issues, but especially his take on vaccines was a huge controversy. And some artists took their music off Spotify because of it. Anyways, that's what I know of Joe Rogan. So coming to the special, it's a little over an hour long. He talks about all kinds of issues. He does deal with like the vaccine and trans issues and gay issues. So he does get to some controversial stuff in the special itself. And that's what's kind of going around. The clips of that I've seen it all over the place on different shows and stuff. And I'm curious what, liberals are probably going to hate it, what he says. I think conservatives are kind of, clipping them and like enjoying it. And for me, though, I just found the special not funny at all. Like, I don't think I laughed one time doing the whole thing. I don't think Joe Rogan's funny at all. I don't know if he's a stand-up comedian, but as far as someone who watches a lot of stand-up and I enjoy stand-up, his stand-up was not good at all. He didn't feel like he knew what exactly he was doing up there. He did a lot of jokes on smoking marijuana. That seemed like to be the big thing, and to me, I don't care about marijuana smoking. I don't do it myself or condone it, or not condone it, or approve of it. I don't approve of it, and so here I'm doing like tons of jokes on marijuana smoking. I'm just like, okay, this is not funny. I don't care about it. Seemed like he kept going back to that. Like I said, he does hit on some controversial subjects, which that's the thing about stand up. Is you can somehow cleverly get through some controversial subjects without, making people think and making people laugh. He did neither. He didn't make me laugh. He didn't make me think at all. A good comedian could, go, cleverly talk about those kind of subjects, like a Bill Burr does it very well. For instance, Joe Rogan, I didn't think did so well at that. And I don't know, he just didn't have funny comic timing. His jokes weren't that clever. Anything. He also curses quite a bit. I'm more of a clean comedian for the most part. I like more clean comedians that don't curse or talk about sex and all kinds of dirty things. But he definitely said the F word quite a bit in the special. He talked a lot about, men and women body parts and, gross stuff and just very vulgar stuff. Anyway, so I didn't like all the vulgarity of the special itself. And yeah, to me, I'd give it a 1 out of 5 stars. To me, one of the worst specials I've seen. And I think it's probably going to, it's Netflix, and Joe Rogan's a big enough name. It's probably going to get a lot of views, maybe a lot of positive views. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know if anybody else has seen it and thinks differently. I'd love to hear anybody's thoughts on it. To me, though, yeah, was not a good special.